Welcome. We're here. This is great. Been looking forward to it. Like to thank everybody for registering ahead of time and signing in for this today. We've got a lot of great information about skilled trades and apprenticeship programs at St. Lawrence College, all three of our campuses. We're going to definitely address and talk about a number of things that are going on and how to get involved. Some people actually sent us some questions ahead of time. And so I've read through some of the questions, and as Heather had mentioned, please feel free to, as questions come into your mind, send it through the Q&A section, and we will be addressing the questions towards the end. I'm going to be talking about all three of our campuses. This slide in particular talks about skilled trades at SLC, St. Lawrence College. So at St. Lawrence College in Kingston, we have two certificate programs. One's a culinary and one is carpentry, which I teach in, the carpentry as well as the apprenticeship program. 8 diploma programs, 9 apprenticeship programs. Now the word apprenticeship, some of the questions that came in, people are just asking, how does apprenticeship work? Where do I go? How do I address it? And hopefully this presentation, hopefully I'll be able to address most of those questions, most of the questions that came in advance. But the word apprenticeship, you don't want to take lightly. It's something that you definitely want to pay close attention to and make sure that you're registered to a program that is directly connected with the ministry, and it's recognized and identified as an actual apprenticeship program, or also known as a Red Seal certification program. Okay, so when we talk apprenticeship and trades, all too often people think of the construction trades. Okay, but essentially there's well over 150 trades out there, of which you can quickly see here that not all of them are construction related. Okay, we've got cook, we've got hairstyling, we've got all sorts of different ones, and they are trades, they are considered trades, but I'm going to focus on, I'm going to talk about all of them in a roundabout way, but I'm going to focus on, first of all, starting an apprenticeship, why you want to become an apprentice, can I afford to be an apprentice, and that sort of thing. Okay, so these are the programs that are offered at our three fine campuses, whether you're talking Cornwall at the East End, Brockville in the middle, or Kingston here in Kingston. Kingston's in Kingston, yes. So you'll notice that some of them overlap. Where Cornwall, for instance, we teach carpentry as well as carpentry here in Kingston. This is the question that I've got a list of questions here in front of me, and this one comes up a lot. Can I afford to be an apprentice, or can I afford to be a tradesperson? Whether it's construction related or food related, aesthetics, hairstyling, whatever it is, you're going to be pleasantly surprised, I think, when you hear some of this information. There's a website that you can, excuse me, that you can look at. It's called Payscale.com. Now, on this website, Payscale.com, it quickly walks you through any career choice, anything that you're interested in anywhere in Ontario, providing you type in payscale.com, not payscales. Don't put an S on it, because if you do put an S on it, then you're going to be in a situation where you're at an American website. So just payscale.com, and it will walk you through everything. So you can type in the campus that you'd like to attend, the trade that you would like to take, type in a bunch of information. They'll ask you, and they'll tell you what the people in that general city are earning on average. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, the other thing is, on this slide, it says, can I afford to be an apprentice? And the first thing it says, wages are monitored, ministry monitored. That means the ministry, which is responsible, and we'll be sharing the information later about all of the ministry contact informations and addresses right across the general area that we're located with our three campuses. Basically, the wages are ministry monitored, meaning that when you start an apprenticeship, they get the employer as well as the employee to sign a dual party contract stating that they basically need to make between here and here. Okay, which is usually the case. Now, when they finish level 1, they return back to be a training level 2 apprentice. Instead of making between here and here, the ministry is hoping that they're now making between here and here. So their wages basically will be increasing as their knowledge increases, and rightfully so, because I mean, the apprentices, when they're here, they work hard. When they're working on the job site, they work hard. So there's a number of really good incentives. And then when you go back as a level 3, the ministry also expects a pay increase. Now, one of the really good things, the really cool things that I'm seeing is when our apprentices come back, they're just like, yeah, I was expecting X number of dollars per hour pay increase when I went back. And then, so they gave me that pay increase, and then they identified the fact that I'm worth a lot, well, not a lot more, but more to them. And they actually gave them a second pay increase in a lot of cases. And apprenticeship is definitely a win-win in this situation. Okay. Some of the current tuition rates, when you're talking a full-time program, we're talking around $4,000 probably for a tuition for a full-time program, whereas with an apprenticeship program, basically there's a huge skilled trade shortage right across Canada, not just here in Kingston or in Ontario, right across Canada, where the governments have identified that we need more skilled tradespeople. So what they're doing is they're paying a good majority of your tuition. So essentially, if you come to the college as an apprentice, your current tuition rate is just over $400 each time you come. Okay, so you'll come for level 1, it's $400. You come for level 2 a following year, it's $400. And in most trades are 3 levels, some are 4 levels. So the tuition basically is $400 each time you come to school. Now you're seeing this other note that I've put up here where it says get paid to educate yourself, and that's true. That's an actual. There's some truth to that, because another reason the government is stepping forward because we've got a skilled trade shortage is what they're now doing is they're paying EI. So you pay as an employee, you pay into your employment insurance. So when you're here as an actual apprentice, you get a paycheck. Okay, so you only pay $400 to come here. Then you get paid every 2 weeks. There's a paycheck. Now I will tell you, EI isn't your full pay, but it's about 65% of your income. So still, every 2 weeks you're receiving a pay for that. Should you be traveling over 23 kilometers one way to come to the in-school portion, then the provincial government now is paying. No, they're not paying for all of your gas, but they're giving you a gas allowance. Should you have dependents, children in daycare, providing you can provide a receipt from the person that you're actually paying for daycare, they will reimburse you for a good majority of that. Another sweet thing, we have quite a few of our students that come from quite a ways from out of town, where they just make up their mind that they want to come to St. Lawrence College. They will actually pay a living allowance for you to come here. So should you be somewhere west or east or north from St. Lawrence, any one of our campuses, then basically if you're paying rent or you're paying a mortgage at your location and you have to pay, should it be a bachelor apartment or a motel or hotel or anything like that, they will compensate for quite a few of those expenses as well. So that allows you to be educated at the facility of your choice. Okay, we have quite a few students that will take advantage of that. Okay, so there's a lot here. Wow. So we take a look at the apprenticeship incentive grants. Now, if you want to look into this, you just type exactly what it says right there, apprenticeship incentive grants. Type that in, and you'll realize that for every level that you complete, if you complete level 1 and you're successful, the college you will receive a transcript, which is a lot like a report card without the comments, just with your marks and your information, and they'll take a look at it and they'll say, wow, okay, so you took it at St. Lawrence College, it's an apprenticeship program, it goes towards Red Seal certification, and they'll send you $1,000. Okay, so it seems too good to be true. You get paid to go to school and you also receive $1,000. Well, you do that for level 2, you still get paid to go to school through your EI, and then you also receive another $1,000. If it's a 3-year apprenticeship program, when you finish your third and final level and write your exam to become a certified tradesperson, so if you're successful on that exam, let's not say if, but when you're successful on that exam, you're basically going to qualify for $2,000. Okay, and that's for the males that are interested in the trade. The government has identified that they would like to see more females in the trades. So the top cap for the incentive grants for the males sits at $4,000, and the top that women can claim, not claim, but receive for the incentive grant is up to $6,000. What I have here is a 4-year scenario, and if you joined me for the earlier one, this is going to be a bit of a repeat. Some of this is a repeat, but I mean, it's all apprenticeship and trades related, so it's really important information to get out to each and every one of you. We take a look at a 4-year scenario that I've created, and I've created this using Payscalecom. Now, when I went to the website, I typed in all the information. So let's say, what I did was I typed in somebody finished high school and went straight into a trade. Okay. Now I'm going to use carpentry as an example here, mainly because that's the area I teach in, and that's what I speak a lot about. Okay. 2 people is the actual program that I teach in. So if somebody came out of high school, so they graduated high school, this is a high school graduate, they go into the trades, they don't start an apprenticeship, they don't register as an apprentice, they don't do the in-school portion. At the end of that 4 years, on average, in Eastern Ontario, that person's making $27,000 a year. Okay, so we're all sitting here, and I'm the same. If somebody were to say, here, put this $27,000 in your pocket and hold on to it, it'd be like, wow, that's great. But then when they move to the next line and say, survive for the next year on that, some people are going to struggle, okay, depending on your expenses, okay, depending on a number of different things. But living on $27,000 before taxes, that is going to be quite difficult. Okay, so you take the same 4 years, a totally different person registers, came out of high school, so they graduated from high school, they went into an apprenticeship program at the college, and then at the end of the 4 years, they're now licensed as a licensed tradesperson. So instead of making the $27,000 like the person that did not do the apprenticeship, so the person that completed the apprenticeship became a certified tradesperson, the same 4 years later, that person's now making around $60,000. And again, I'm not making this up. This is information that's on the website that I had mentioned before. And so they more than doubled their earnings at the young stage that they're at. I mean, 4 years into a trade, 4 years out of high school, to make $60,000 is a really nice starting point. Okay. Also to note, that when you're getting into the trades, you have flexibility. There is a huge skilled trade shortage. If you would like to work extra hours, there is not one employer I know of that would say, no, you can't work extra hours. So, I mean, you can increase your income significantly by pairing up with an employer that has more than enough work, which is most of the employers that are out there. We'll move ahead. Okay. So who are our apprentices? I wanted to mention the OEAP program, which stands for Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. Now, what this program is, should we have any younger people or parents maybe of high school students or future high school students, what this is a program that they take while they're in high school. It's called a dual credit program. So you can actually get credit towards your graduation for high school and receive your level 1 of the given trade. Okay, so we work with the school boards on this in different levels, different ways. But the school boards really encourage this, and I would encourage you, either you or you, to recommend your child to go to a counselor at the school and talk to them about the OEAP program and getting registered in the OEAP program if that sounds like something that's of interest to you. So basically, it's paid for. Your whole level 1 is paid for by the school board. Okay, another sweet perk. Okay, not only paid for, but your books are paid for as well. So, and the books will add up as well. We also have new workers and long-time workers that come in as apprentices. When I say that, could be somebody directly out of high school. It could be somebody that has been working in the trade for a number of years and just realized that, you know what, I need to become certified. I need to get that Red Seal certification so that I can make more money and I can be recognized and open the doors to more employment in other areas of the trade as well. Okay, coming into the apprenticeship program, we also have second career. So we see this a lot where people get into the wrong career, or I shouldn't say the wrong career, but a career that they just don't seem fulfilled, or they don't seem to be enjoying it. I was lucky at a young age. My father sat me down, basically said, if you find a job, he said, the real secret in life is find a career that you love and you'll never have to go to work a day in your life. Okay. Now, when you first hear that, it's sort of like, what did Barry just say, and what does he mean by that? But it means that basically you don't feel the dread on Sunday night when you know you have to go to work on Monday, or last night, Monday night after a holiday Monday. I can honestly tell you that since I've become active in the trades, active in teaching, I don't need an alarm clock. Okay, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. So we have a lot of people that are second career, and they're so happy. Okay. Also university students and university graduates. So we'll have university students that will go to university and realize while they're in university, well, you know what, this really isn't for me. I'm not enjoying this. I don't think I would like to pursue this. So there's a number of students that will contact me and say, look, what's involved and what can I do? And we even have university graduates that come along and say, you know what, I'm really thinking about being an apprentice. And some of the questions that came through early today, before today's presentation, was I'm a university graduate, what would be involved? So one of the things that would be involved is first of all, you would have to seek employment. Okay, and then go from there, and we'll be talking about that here on a slide to come. But there's a lot of great things, a lot of different aspects. Students come from all sorts of walks of life. Up above where it says new workers or long-time workers, it could be new people right from the high school forces. It could be somebody new to the country. And I mean, that's great, because I mean, we're seeing a lot of diversity and a lot of great things going on in the trades when we have a lot of different people coming and sharing their great information with us. Okay, so steps to becoming an apprentice. Okay, so with this, and I will tell you that there are links on this. I will ensure you that these slideshows are going to be sent to you. So if you are participating and you're thinking, wow, I wish I could click on that, you will be receiving this presentation. So you'll be able to access all of these links that we're showing and sharing with you today. So the first thing you do is you basically, for any apprenticeship, is go out and actually find employment. Okay. Now, approaching this, I would say approach it with caution, in the sense that if you walked up to somebody that's an employer and say, I want you to hire me as an apprentice, that's a little forward. Okay, so what happens is, a lot of the time is I talk to a lot of people that are seeking employment, and they say, well, I haven't been able to find any employment, and I say, well, what's the first thing you say to them when you see them? And they say, well, I want to be your apprentice. Okay, becoming an apprentice is a big step, really, for the employer and for the employee. Okay. I wouldn't start working for somebody and sign a contract that I'm going to commit to working for you to be your apprentice until I knew that I had a good working relationship, until I knew that you were a person that I respected and looked up to, and it's a joy to come to work, sort of thing. And likewise, the employer isn't really going to want to sponsor you until they know that they've got a really good employee, and they've got somebody that's got good work ethic and shows up on time and really dedicated and that sort of thing. So one of the bonuses with this is when you start working for somebody, you can go and you can apply for a job and just say, you know, my goal in life is to become a certified tradesperson in this given trade. is there a possibility, should you be happy with me, and I know you will be, but just say, should we be able to make this relationship work, would you and are you able to sponsor me as an apprentice? And if they say absolutely, then that's the point in time that you want to jump on board. And one of the bonuses is when you go to register with the ministry is going to talk to your employer, they're going to talk to you, and they're going to say, how long have you worked with this person? And you're going to say, yeah, we've worked for 8 months before we came to this arrangement. Okay. Now the bonus is they give you credit for that 8 months, so you're not wasting your time. You're actually, if you know that apprenticeship is down the road with this employer, you're getting credit for the time from the very first day you walk on, very first hour you walk on the job site. Okay, so that's important to note, and I quite often say, as far as asking somebody to apprentice them right away, I use the comparison. It's kind of like going on your first date and hoping to be engaged that night. It's just not going to happen. And if it does happen, well, think twice. So anyway, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to apply online. So you can go online to the link that's below that will be provided to you at the Ministry of Labor Training of Skills Development, formerly known as the MTCU. And I will be sharing the contact information here with you shortly. So you register with them. Once it's approved and goes through, the ministry will get a hold of you with a training agreement. You'll sign the agreement, both you and your sponsor will sign the agreement, and then you will wait until the next available time for that to be offered. And once it's offered at school, you'll receive an offer to attend school approximately about 100 to 105 days before the college program starts. Okay. Right now, a lot of it's kind of mixed with our different programs. With carpentry, we're level 1 in October, level 2 right in January, and then level 3 in in March. It varies from program to program. And one of the other things that you might be sitting there thinking, wow, you know what? Like, I'm really interested in going through to be a cook or culinary or hairstyling. We all of our programs are designed to cater to the needs of our students. So what basically that means is we realize and I say we, I'm not involved in the culinary area or the hairstyling. Well, obviously not the hairstyling when you look at the video, but anyway, one of the things that you'll find out is that things like culinary, I talked to some of the chefs that teach in our culinary program, and they say, yeah, we teach heavy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because we know that they're employed and they need the cooks or the cooks in training or the apprentices to be working on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because that's their heavier dates. Same with hairstyling. Hairstyling has a different schedule again. So the schedule I've been talking about thus far is basically the carpentry program, which is Monday to Friday. But if you were wishing that there were flexible arrangements, then there are flexible arrangements. I wouldn't say flexible in that we can teach you one-on-one, but they are flexible in the sense that they've given it a lot of thought. The needs of these students, yes, some of them might want to make money while they're at school and go from there. So anyway, contact the school, talk to people from the college. I'll be sharing my contact information as well. And should there be information that you need that's not carpentry related, but apprenticeship related or any program related, I can quickly put you in touch with the coordinator of any individual program within the school. Okay, so I will share that information. One other note before I leave this slide, I do want to mention when you receive notice that a seat is here for you at the college, usually we'll send about 70 offers out for 50 students, for 50 seats. And the reason we do that is, on average, not all of them can come to school, maybe financial reasons. Maybe there's too much work. That seems to be the biggest one, is there's too much work and they can't spare the person to come. So anyway, once you receive it, once you know you can come to school, respond to the college and confirm that you are indeed very interested and you want to reserve your seat. Do that ASAP, because the seats do fill up. And our enrollments are increasing. So make sure that you address that as quickly as possible. And as I mentioned in the previous webinar, I'm used to teaching, so I'm used to throwing it out there and saying, are there any questions? Okay, but we're coming to the question period here shortly. Okay, so should you be interested in registering as an apprentice in any one of the trades that we mentioned above, here are the links for Belleville, Cornwall, and Kingston. Okay, so you can email, phone them, you can even drop by and have a chat with them and find out, maybe get some information that might be helpful. Maybe once in a while, I've heard that if somebody's actually looking for work, some of the employers are actually reaching out. I know they reach out to us, and they reach out to the ministry as well. And no, we're not guaranteeing you employment, but we might know somebody that's actually hiring that might be able to get your apprenticeship up and running. Okay, so again, these slides will be emailed to you, and you'll be able to click on them and go from there and contact the office that's closest to you from there. Okay, so we are, girls here are actively receiving questions, I believe, from the look of it. So this is my contact information, my personal contact information, so college phone number and my college email address. If you have any questions, I would highly suggest that you email me. I mean, I love talking to people, but I do teach full-time, so I'm in class a lot of the time, and when I receive emails, I can respond to them at any point in time during the day, evening, or weekends. So if you do have any questions, or if you'd like me to sort of be a liaison to make a connection for you, feel free to reach out. Should you receive a seat offer after you're a registered apprentice, make sure you phone the phone number down below and the extension 1376, and that will get you into our apprenticeship office here in Kingston. And that's where you can make the arrangements to actually reserve your seat. Okay, so where are we at here? I've got this, I've got that, and I do also want to mention, I'll come back to the slide and have some questions and hopefully have some good answers for you. I do want to mention that on Saturday, April 4th, we have a lot of fun here. We have an open house where we show that we're proud to be SLC, and you basically show up. Notice that it's from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, so don't plan on coming late in the afternoon, because the actual busy and main part of the open house and all the presentations are going to happen between 9 a.m. and 12 noon. So you come here, I'll be here, our teams will be here, most program coordinators or each program should be represented here, and we can definitely point you in the direction. We're proud of our campuses. We show you around, we show you our labs, we show you our theory classrooms, we show you the whole thing, and we go from there. So feel free to drop by on April 9th. It's a Saturday, 9 o'clock to noon, and we will answer questions for sure. Okay, so I'll go back to the previous slide. And I do want to thank everybody for taking the time, and hopefully you're getting important information that's going to help you in your advancement of your career or career choice.
A couple of questions here. One is, does St. Lawrence College offer electrical apprenticeships?
We absolutely do. We actually offer, I think we've got 4 different electrical programs here, and we also have another program. It's a wind turbine technician program, where through that, should you be interested in wind turbine, you also get training for industrial electrician. We have a standalone industrial electrician. We have wind turbine electrician. We have,
I just don't know.
A couple of different, the names aren't coming to me right now, but we definitely do have electrical apprenticeship programs alive and very well here at St. Lawrence, for sure.
Is there certain high school credits required for applying to the electrician apprenticeship? This one person is saying that high school was nearly 15 years ago for me, so where might I go to get the necessary credits?
Great questions. So there are, even within the college system right here at the campus in Kingston, we have an upgrade training center. We have information where we can put you in contact with them. So again, feel free to reach out to myself, because you have my contact information, and then I can point you in the right direction. One of the things that you, if you go to our website, it will give you a background of what you should have. So there's graduating from high school, and there's also mature adults. So there's 2 different ways of looking at actually enrolling in the college. I know you were talking specifically electrical. Being strong with math is definitely a bonus. Your level of math, again, would be acknowledged through our website. So you can go onto our website, go into the individual programs, and it will talk about the minimum requirements for any given field that you'd like to get into. On that note, as soon as I say math, I scare a lot of people. I teach all of the math, or most of the math, for the carpentry apprenticeship program, and when I tell them I'm the math teacher, a lot of them will just sort of look at me in shock. But I collect feedback periodically, and I collect feedback right at the end. And most common feedback I get is, this is the first time I've actually taken a math course, and I totally understand it and totally appreciate it, because you're dealing with math that is relevant to the world that you're going into. Okay, so I can always remember, and please forgive me, school teachers, but I always remember when I was in grade 11, I went up to a math teacher and I said, can you give me an example of where I would use this? Okay, his answer was, if you ever learn how to do this, then I'll come up with a solution of where you might need it. Okay, that basically told me if the math teacher at that point in time couldn't do it. And I will tell you that teachers, teaching has changed significantly. It's a lot of years since I was in high school. But that basically told me, well, I'm never going to need this. Okay, so 3 weeks into the trade, it's just like, I remember that from grade 11 math. I do need that. Okay, so that's when I had to retrain myself and go from there. But when you're actually working in and around the trade, you go, so if it was carpentry, for example, you go to a class where we're talking about carpentry, then we go to a class where we're figuring things out that are carpentry related, and then you're going to a lab and you're actually building what we just spent the last 2 classes talking about. So there's a lot of relevance. Our apprenticeship also, there's a lot of hands-on. We're probably about 60% hands-on for each level that you're here. So hands-on, I mean, the majority of tradespeople are experiential learners, where we learn by doing rather than sitting in behind a desk. Mind you, we are sitting behind a desk, but we do have active, engaged ways to teach. And on another note, all of our tradespeople that teach in any of the apprenticeship trades are all certified tradespeople, so we know how you learn best, because we were in the same seats that you're going to be in. So hopefully I answered your question. I probably went on a little bit long on that one.
Thank you, Barry. I do have a couple other questions here. One was to find out when courses start, do we look for a sponsor, or is there a list of available employers? I think you touched on that, but could you clarify a bit?
Yeah, no, I'd be glad to. There isn't an official list of employers. I receive emails, phone calls on a regular basis where people are actually asking me, do you know of anybody hiring? And I also have employers phoning and leaving messages saying, Barry, I would hire 5 people right now. If they were to walk through the door, I would hire them on the spot. If you can point them in this direction, please do. So again, we can't guarantee you employment, and I'm not in the business, but I am in the business where I've worked in the trades for almost 40 years now. I have a lot of contacts right across Ontario, and they're constantly looking. So feel free to reach out, and if I know of anybody, then I'll share the information with you and go from there. When are the intakes? The intakes vary. They're for individual programs. So I really hate to say the start date is this, when I know full well that depending on the program, it is probably going to be a different start date. So what I would do, again, go to the website, get the information. If the information is not there, there are links to other websites where you can ask questions to the appropriate people, and they will quickly respond to you and let you know when the intakes are, and go from there. Also, when you register with the ministry is well aware about a year in advance of when the intakes are going to be starting. So hopefully that answers your question about that.
Thank you, Barry. I have another one here, and this is, I'm not sure, this came up a couple of times. Some are wondering about how they would know which trade is right for them before they apply.
That is a great question, and we've heard that question so much that we've developed a program that revolves around that. We've got a program that we call Taste of the Trades. Highly suggest, if you think the trades are for you, but you don't know what trade, I would look into it. So contact the college, or even you can contact, if you're in high school, you can contact a counselor, and the counselor can point you in the right direction. We have the program where you basically come in. For 3 days, you're working in this trade. For another 3 days, you're working in a different trade. And it really gives you the sensation of working in a trade, because we do a lot of hands-on activities with these students, so that they can identify what it is that we're doing and whether they like it, or better yet, if they don't like it, and because you don't want to commit to something that you're not going to like. So contact the college, ask about our Taste of the Trade program, and you will be pointed in the proper direction, and then you can register and get a sampler of all the trades that we teach here, and go from there.
That's a great idea. So another question here, what's available as second career, and what are the best courses for employment?
Okay, so available for second career, essentially all of our apprenticeships, I would say, are available for second career, because of our students, I have an intake right now of about 46 intermediate students, and of the 46 intermediate students, probably about 10 to 15 of them, at least 10 or 15 of them, are second career. So they got into something and realized it wasn't for them, or they were encouraged to do this for some reason, but now they're actually entering into something that they really wanted to do, and they're really enjoying it. So as far as second career choice, any of our apprenticeship programs are second career or first career choices. And because of all the incentives that I mentioned, where you get $1,000 for completing each level, you get to collect EI. So with a little bit of creative savings of funds while you're working up to your level 1 or level 2 or 3, whatever level you're working up to, you're able to save a little bit of money. You get your EI and you get compensated. It definitely makes it affordable. And we also see a lot of students that when I bring this to their attention with the incentives and the EI, it's just like, wow, post-secondary might be an option for me. I didn't think there was a hope or a chance that I was going to, but absolutely, anybody can do it. It does take a little bit of creative savings because you are working, save a little bit of money, set it aside, and then come to school. So yeah, second career, first career, apprenticeship is definitely something that is making post-secondary education available to a lot of people that otherwise it might not be. Okay.
I have another one here, and this one might be a great way to wrap up the presentation. They're asking, what does the process look for someone interested in the absolute first steps in applying for an apprenticeship?
So what is it that they're looking for?
Yes, what does the process look like for someone that they're starting right from the very beginning?
Okay.
How would they start?
So from the very beginning, I would say I would do your homework. I know a lot of people that will just go out and they'll apply for jobs at random places, but I like to do my homework, identify who these companies are, who the people are, find out what their mission statements are, find out what they stand for, find a company that you think, I think this would be a good connection. So for one now, a big one with us is energy efficient building and that sort of thing. So if you find somebody that's made a mission statement where it's reducing your carbon footprint or building the most efficient home and that sort of thing, I would do your homework. Once you determine this is somebody that I'd like to apply for, I would encourage applying. And other ways of doing your homework, go through their website, identify, okay, I'd like to work for them. What is it that's important about them? Research it. And then when you go in for that interview, or to see if you can get an interview, what better thing to talk about than their company? So if you've done your research, you know about their company. There's not an employer out there that is not going to be impressed if you come for an interview and you know about my company already, because you're already expressing interest in my company. So apply for the work, talk about the possibilities of apprenticing, and knowing down the road, if they agree that they will take you on as an apprentice, knowing full well, I mean, you've got good work ethic, you show up on time, you're very dedicated and that sort of thing, then with the skilled trade shortage that we've got, they'd be foolish not to sponsor you as an apprentice, of which time when you go in and you register as an apprentice, you get credit for the time that you've already worked. So that would get the ball rolling, and just basically be dedicated, show up, and like do your research and look for companies that you think you'd be a good fit in, rather than just going around and just randomly dropping by job sites or something like that and trying to apply for a job. But know full well that an apprenticeship is quite possible in the future, not the day that you're hired.
Okay. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I do have some closing thoughts. Once again, I've talked way too much here, but I'd really like to thank you for enrolling, showing your interest in apprenticeship and trades. Should we be able to help you out at all, you've got my contact information. You've got a lot of information for the college website. You'll be receiving the slideshows, the slides that I've been using. Feel free to reach out. And again, I'll go up to this slide again in case you missed the slide about the open house, Saturday, April 4th, 2020, 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. We've got an open house, and we are more than willing to talk about any of the programs that we offer here at the college, and get you started into a second career, first career, or wherever it is that you are in life. Let's get the ball rolling for you. And thank you very much. Enjoy this snowy, blustery day, and be safe, friends.